these groups, these meetings, everything else. And they'll be all for what they needed before. And procrastination and fatigue are there. We work so hard to do the things we don't want that our energy gets spent. Had we been doing things that we want to do, our energy might not be spent and we could do what we need to do. And we could have that energy to do what we need to do. And even if that's not the case, we might take that hour nap or hour and a half nap that'll help us better get our energy later on in the day. This is what I'm talking about right now. How do we go from where we need to go in order to get that energy? How do we carry on from a place that gives us little and take it for a lot? I am going to discuss about that more after the break.
In the first book, I discussed about the facts of going broke. The second book, I discussed about the importance of saving money. This is the third book in a series of books. In this book, I will discuss about the importance of budgeting. Budgeting is debated by people. Some may think it is the next best thing since sliced bread, and others may just hate it. Either way, budgeting can be an asset if it is used right, even if you don't like it. Like saving money, it is a disciplinary tactic that can be used. What is budgeting? Budgeting is where you limit yourself a certain amount a week and stick to the budget. There are benefits to this if you do it. However, there also is a downside to it. Sometimes you might feel limited. All of these points will be discussed in this book. The first chapter of the book, I will discuss about dividing your check when you are on a budget. The second chapter, I will discuss about the importance of living on a budget and sticking to it. The third chapter, I will discuss about resisting the urge of spending your money and rewarding yourself for sticking to the budget. The fourth chapter, I will discuss about the techniques you can use for setting a budget, whether it's handwritten or on Excel. In the fifth chapter, I discuss about automating your budget, so that way you could spend and not worry about it. Then I discuss about how you know your budget is working, and finally wrapping up about the topic on budgeting. This book on budgeting is to give you pointers of what I learned about budgeting. I will tell you what has worked for me and what hasn't. I will also tell you, like I told you in the last book, that this book is to reinforce these ideas on budgeting into me. If you follow these steps or are already using them, great. If you're just picking up tips on this book, then this book is for you. However, if you don't like this book and you don't want to budget, then that is your decision to make. I'm not going to change your decision one way or the other. I just want to add an alternative view. I hope you enjoy and learn all you can read. Enjoy this book. Good budgeting is allocation of your funds, and there are different ways you can budget. Whether you are limiting yourself a certain amount a week or you are automating your funds, either way, the choice is up to you. Only you know your fixed expenses and your other expenses. And as I learned from reading Tony Robbins' new book, Money, Master the Game, 7 Simple Steps to Financial Freedom, it might be beneficial financially to move to a different environment. Maybe you need a change in life, and this could help you with your living expenses. Budgeting is what you make of it. Make the best of it.
That was budgeting. How to budget your money. Written by Joseph Evaldi, narrated by Ken Aiken, and that is now available on Audible, iTunes, and Amazon. Back to the podcast. I am back, and I'm gonna wrap up this podcast in the last 10 minutes. Procrastination, fatigue, and work. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. If we don't do what we are meant to do in life, if we don't do what we need to do in life, we're not going to get there. Now, I know this might be far-fetched. This might sound like a lot. But life, and I heard this before, life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I believe David Bach was saying that in the book. We can't sprint through life. If we sprint, we're going to go broke. We're going to not fulfill our dreams. We're going to be everywhere. And life is not going to be good. Life is pacing yourself. Life is a pace, a jog. Slowly getting there to your destination. Now, we all want to get rich quick. And we want to spend quick. We want to do the things and get there quick. But there's an order in things. And I do believe that there's an order and a higher power and a God. And I'm not preaching, but I'm just saying this. Everything reveals itself in a certain amount of time. You might not get there right away. You might not get what you want right away. It might take you years to make money from something that you've been doing a few years back. You might start, but eventually you're going to get there. I've been working on trying to do online stuff for, I say, had to be a good 10 years. And finally, I've gotten my profit. It's not much, but it's a start. And life works this way. I know I was talking about fatigue, but it's a counter. Life works in increments. You do things here, you do things there, it picks up. And it might not work all the way, and you might not get there all the way. But with life, if you sprint through it, if you try to exert all your energy, you're going to get burnt out. And I've been burnt out before. That's why you pace yourself, you rest if you need to, you sleep if you need to, you get your energy if you need to, and you use it on the things that you want to do it. Because if you're exerting on things that you don't, and you're doing things that you don't, you're going to be miserable, you're going to be tired, you're going to be doing the things you don't want, you're going to get addicted, and everything else. And some of us have addictions. Some of us have good addictions. Some of us have bad addictions. But you know what? It is what it is. And we gotta pace. And if we don't pace in our work life, if we don't take that time and effort to do what we need to do, if we don't plan things out, if we don't map things out, if we don't have a vision, if we don't eat right, we're not gonna have that energy that's needed. Everything is work. And we gotta get there. For all we may feel we don't have the energy to do something, and then it causes us to not want to do it. That's when we gotta push ourselves. But pace ourselves as well. This has been the Joseph Evaldi Podcast. Have a good night.